Hello, this is Dan Weinstein. I'm doing a screen record here. I want to talk about this Facebook post I made today because a couple of people emailed me. They wanted to talk more about it. You know, to be honest, it really just starts right here with me posting about the exam. 2 weeks ago, I gave Out of Mice and Men, and I said, get the whole thing read by this day. And I gave them over vacation, but plus before vacation and after, they could read over vacation if they wanted or not. I did not do a whole bunch of quizzes. Make sure you're reading. I really try to get rid of the read this or fail mentality. And instead, I try to approach it from the mentality of student response art. Not necessarily asking them, are they doing the reading, but are they doing the response art? Are they preparing for the essay? Are they getting ready? Are they learning what they can? Obviously, I want them reading the book, but also, obviously, many students do not read the book and they use Wikipedia and whatever. And hopefully this will motivate more students than not to actually read. So I gave them the 2 questions here, and you could see prompt 1, explore how Steinbeck utilizes one literary technique to create a theme throughout the novel. And prompt number 2, ask them to make an argument over which character evokes their pathos. And those 2 prompts are rooted in the New York State Regents and in the Next Gen Standards and in the AP Standards. It's exactly the same kind of writing tasks we're all working on. In this case, it's one body paragraph, topic sentence, supporting evidence. We've scaffolded all these lessons this year. Cite the source, transition in and out of quotes. Make sure you're supporting your thesis. Utilize all our variety lessons, variety of sentence length, variety of punctuation, variety of rhetorical strategy. And then this is kind of a culmination, sort of everything that we've been doing this year. And then I told them that I'm not really going to teach the book in terms of any kind of traditional way. I'm not going to stand up here and tell you what this stuff means. In fact, quite the opposite. And you could see here on my Padlet post, I talked about mind maps, notice and note, 1-pagers, think about vocab, quotes, characters, actions, themes, imagery, questions, writing techniques, the upcoming exam. And then I gave them, about a week to post the work to their Padlet for whole class review. And we've been going through them and talking about them. And I'm able to guide the conversation and see what they thought and see what they're doing. And, you can see on this post, here's a little rubric. I gave them 4 pieces if they want the 50 out of 50. 3 pieces get you 45 out of 50, I use Google Classroom for all my grades and all my lessons, collecting everything, and it's amazing. And you can see on the bottom, I had a few links there. A link to the Notice and Note signpost, a link to the Padlet, and a link to my own blog on when I experimented with Notice and Note. And then this was just one amazing cartoon a student did. I thought it was great, and I posted a few pictures from the Padlet. There's actually 44 of these pieces on the Padlet, and they really span the gamut, and there's so much to talk about. I've been calling these pieces up in front of the whole class and talking about them and what they mean and asking the students questions and getting them thinking. And right here, this is actually yesterday's post, and you can see I wrote, let's get those pieces up on Padlet before class begins today. And today, you're going to think about 2 exam questions as we review for your amazing work. I encourage you to take risks, bleed on paper, think outside the box on Tuesday for their essay. And so I was guiding them to take notes, think about the questions, and of course on the test they won't have any notes, but I got a funny feeling they're going to revise this test and, make it even better. So that is how I've been teaching of Mice and Men without really teaching of Mice and Men. And it is all rooted in the work that we have been doing all year long. If you look in my classes, if I'm going to take you through this Google Classroom real fast here and give you a look, because everything I do is on Google Classroom. Everything. I love it. I run everything through it. And I'm taking it right back here to August 31st, the opening days of the class, and let's see how I start class with a video I wanted them to watch. I actually was recovering from surgery. And look at numbers 2 and 3. Oh, and 3. Oh, nice counting there, huh? Jeez. But it was all about getting the writer's notebooks, the independent reading program, and the portfolios of creativity into their brains. We start using it. The first assignment is to do these ID cards, and here's some example ID cards connected right here, and I immediately get them making response art at the intersection of language and visual arts in these amazing ID cards. And I'm a big believer that students just need an example or two, and of course I give them a million examples, and they can get off the ground. And I even on the first day here, you can see I start with examples of portfolios, and I'm clicking on a portfolio example. And on the very first day, I say this is what's going to be due at the end of the year. And these portfolios just come out amazing. All kinds of mind maps and reflections and cartoons and comics. But of course, there's also poems and essays. You know, the visual art is really fun to show. It's very eye-catching. But plenty of essays and prose in here and reflections that we go through in our year together. And, you know, for the assignment, what I was posting today, you know, about teaching of mice and men, let's come back to that Facebook post, is, you know, it's whole class literature. I'm not the biggest fan of whole class literature, but you got to do it. I'm much more into my independent reading programs. But I just loved how this came out, and it wasn't top down. It was all about student-centered, students thinking about the work, students filling in this Padlet, and students thinking about their test that is coming up. And it's a bit of a jigsaw. I was like, oh, you guys do chapter 1 and 5, you guys do chapters 3 and 6, you guys do this, whatever, and I was jigsawing the whole book, and that is how it worked. And you can see I got some of the most amazing work. I'll open up the Padlet here to end this. And I use Padlet a lot. You can see there's a lot of Padlets up here. And this was the Of Mice and Men Padlet that we were just filling in. And I mean, I could open any of these pieces, and they're just so good, you know. And this is just for 50 points. Students will usually do the best they can do every time. Here's a Lenny and George character profile, and you know, obviously there's different artistic you know, abilities out there. And I try not to grade based on the artistic ability, but just based on did you get it done or not? Are you taking my coaching? Are you helping us? I mean, all these kids, these are all going to get like perfect grades. They're such a wonderful response art. Oh my gosh, look at Curly here with his inferiority complex. Oy Gavolt. And, I mean, an amazing piece here on Curly's wife. You know, just wonderful response art. And you know how proud these kids feel? Do you know the satisfaction they feel at this wonderful work? This is really getting into the core learning, the social, emotional. I did this. I made it. I have a lot of reasons to be proud. And it's a lot better than sitting there listening to me talk about Of Mice and Men and sad solitaire piece. All right, this is Dan Weinstein. I'm going to send this video off.